Okay, I'm going to give you a little insight into what I do when I want to do something to the extreme with losing body fat and maintaining muscle. Growing muscle at the same time, yes, I can do it, but you have to do weight training very specifically. It has to be less weight, more reps, and form has to be even better. Otherwise you'll just strain and drain the body even more, and all it's trying to do is just recover what you've just destroyed, literally. So if I'm giving up for some type of a show or something and I want to lose body fat and do it very safely, my fats literally will be anywhere from about 300 to 500 grams a day, and I will try to run off that. And if I go to have some form of a carbohydrate or a sugar, it will be a fruit. It may be a little bit of rice, but that's really about it. And if it is a fruit, it'd be one of the more healthier ones, so it'd be more like a banana or an orange. And if it was carbohydrates, it'd be like kidney beans or black beans. So the best fats I find that work for me, now this is all genes, because I've had certain genes done, so I know what works better for me. But the different parts of the body and the brain respond better to higher amounts of certain types of fats. Fish oil, I usually have it in capsules though. You usually want to spend a better quality amount on it to get a better result, always, so you avoid ciguatera and any heavy metals that are in it, so hopefully they've stripped that out. So anything that is odorless, light, fat-free, things like that, waste of time. They've got a lot of the goods stripped out and they've put other things in to make it taste and feel better. And that's just not natural, because you've got to remember your body's still an animal, just with a highly evolved brain, and all you need to do is like throw that aside and think like an animal. So what does an animal eat? It just has its water and eats stuff off a tree and out of the ground and might eat another animal. That's it. So we're still that simple, only because we're more highly evolved and we do more. And then for different body types, we need to keep essentially filled up in all these areas. So I'll give people high amounts of fat diets, and I'll even give them some glutamine, and that'll extremely, and even some alpha-lipoic acid to help with cravings, insulin release and stuff like that. And within a day I can get people virtually either stop drinking or smoking. You just got to stick to it. So fats will be a lot of fish oil, not too much, sometimes, yes and no. There'll be a lot of flaxseed oil, a lot of olive oil, and you want to get one that's an organic one. So the more it tastes quite smooth, like a buttery taste on your tongue, the front part of your tongue, and then if it tastes a bit like a pepper, literally at the back of your throat, it's really good in polyphenols, so antioxidants, really rich, absolutely really good for you. And Udo's oil usually, so something like that. So Udo's oil is still the flaxseed, but it has concentrations of omegas 6 and 9 added to it as well. And they're usually the main ones that I will stick to. Every now and then I will have an avocado or two. If I'm going to go have a workout, I might even have 3 or 4 avocados before that. And because being lean, your body's going to beneficially have better results by actually training. It needs some form of a glucose really in the muscle system when you're doing a muscle training exercise. You can do it off fats. However, it's still, because when you run on low body fat, you run on high protein and fats, your body accesses adrenaline a lot better. So you can actually feel a hell of a lot sharper and switched on. But having that, you're going to, because the higher fats and protein help to re-energize and recover your cells very well in the whole of your body. But there does come a point, I believe, where certain type of muscle mass, leanness, different body types, what you're doing all the time, you've got to, it's all by feel. You've got to be very conscious of what you do, and you've got to be very careful of how you do it. Otherwise, too many systems in the body essentially will and can get drained, get sick, get run down. You can't sleep. That's a big thing. Sleep's a huge thing. So a lot of people that don't have anything for sleep, your body needs some form of a glucose or carb before bed if you're very lean and you're not having any the other stuff, because during sleep your body still is going, it's still working. And if you're training lots, any athlete knows this, you need something before sleep to be able to help you actually even to try and sleep deep. So you sort of knock the body out. Some people have too much and they can't sleep. So there's a fine line. and it's putting the science together right, but it's knowing how to do it too. And a lot of people don't even know how to do it. So that's a huge key. But high fats, protein, I will still mix up continuously. It won't be a lot of egg, won't always be a lot of fish. I will have probably more salmon than fish actually. So Atlantic salmon. So I'll have salmon, I'll have kangaroo, I'll have beef, turkey. Chicken I will rotate through, has to be organic with chicken. I prefer to usually have turkey, better quality. The chicken can raise sometimes growth hormone unnaturally too much, certain markers, so you've got to be careful of that. And look, loads of different types of veggies all the time. I make a lot of soup, and when the soup's hot and you put fats, let the oils in there, it actually goes in a hell of a lot better, and it's actually more enjoyable too. So that's a good way to apply a lot of fats, and that's usually what I do, unless I'm having capsules. I usually have the fish oil capsules, maybe even flaxseed capsules, stuff like that. Flaxseed's not always the greatest to have. It's nice, but it's a bit yuck in some weird way. I won't always train as much. Sometimes I'll go to the extreme with training, but not always. But anyway, loads of veggies, salads, yes, still lots of salads. Fibre, you get enough fibre literally out of all the veggies and salads you're going to be having anyway. If you find that your gut and intestinal, your gut not going to the bathroom really well, you should hopefully, the more you eat of veggies and all that stuff, if you can end up going twice, 3 times a day to do number 2s, perfect. It's really, really good. And people need to do that. So that's a great way that you know that your body's literally absorbing and uptaking everything you're having very well, and it's actually flushing it out very well too. So, and I will use quercetin, so Quercetin, that over anything the naturopath or nutritionist has ever come up with, that works the best, because sure, you can put so many things in the gut and the intestinal tract to help fill it up of its pool of hundreds of different things. So if you're talking about probiotics and enzymes, and the list goes on, vitamins and minerals that the gut and intestinal tract store all the time, that's great. But if you don't have the basics and the foundation in place to enable that to work better, because everything all the organs that work a certain way in the body, and certain things help to make them work better. So detoxing is like the best thing for all organs. But if you're having an awesome nutrition, you don't really need to do that all the time. If it's more lean, you don't need to do that. Quercetin, however you want to say it, it's a weird name. So Quercetin is one of the best things for tightening up the cells of the gut and intestinal tract. So the cells come together like glue, and then everything on the outside of the walls of that actually works. So your epithelium cells, which help to transport interleukins, your immune system, through receptor sites, through the electron transport chain, up to the brain, tells it what to do, blah, 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 sends all the messages back down, the list goes on. And then you've got your villi, microvilli, which help to absorb, break down nutrients and do that. And the cell mucous membrane, which actually helps with when you have water in certain foods, so it flows through like a river. And then you want to have things like the exchange between water and gas has to be done right too. But a lot of times you don't always need water to get that to happen. So anytime you burp and fart, things like that, the exchange between water and gas is being upset by the things you're eating, drinking, or the tightness of the cells are not together enough. So if you can actually just use that quercetin really well, everything you eat and drink, if it's really good, will actually, because that has hundreds and thousands, or just more like thousands maybe, of everything you need in it to restore gut and intestinal health. Everyone's going to be different. I mean, if you've got ulcers going on, or you've got some type of a real, the list is huge in there, so I'll leave it at that. But so there's specific ways to try and get rid of that. But essentially, that's like what I'll do, and that way I'm not having to put in supplements and all these pills and things like that, because there's no need. You're just going to upset the gut and intestinal tract and cause problems in the liver, because the liver's still got to break it down, so that's a strain. It's got to take it as well through the bloodstream into the kidneys, so that's going to cause a strain. And while it's doing that process, it's got to float in the bloodstream somewhere, so it's going to damage cells. So cell matrix will become unstable and cause havoc, and cell communication doesn't work properly, reactions go up, sickness, the list goes on. So simple stuff really works. Knowing how to apply it is key. But yeah, that's basically my nutrition. It's just lots of different varieties in protein. You got to go by feel. Make sure you don't have any reactions, because the building blocks of the body is protein. Protein, because in protein is fat. So that's why you can survive off that longer for months, literally, than you could literally having just a vegan diet for months. And cellularly, they're very unhealthy. So do not do a vegan diet. The research is proof in the pudding out there. Some people can handle it. I guarantee you got the building blocks of protein. You need a concentrated dose. At least twice a day, if not 3. I mean, it's an irrefutable fact of science. It's not that hard to grasp, but yet people do it. And long term, things are going to kick in, or your immune system can actually be very weak and more vulnerable. But then again, at the same time, protein these days is more contaminated, so the list goes on there, so it's very hard. What else? Yeah, so just protein, lots of fats, lots of veggies, salads, occasional fruit and carb. But if you've got enough body fat on you, you do not really essentially need hardly any carbs or sugars. If you just up your fats a lot, your body has the excuse to activate lots of different systems that are involved in actually burning off fat. Because without putting fat in, your body doesn't have a reason to actually mobilize and utilize fat as an energy source. So a lot of things do a lot of things in the body. That's huge. This video went too long again. That's okay. All right, I'll leave it at that, and I might do something else. Cool, and good luck.